Welcome to today's explainer. You know, true terror, it doesn't actually come from ghosts or cinematic monsters. It comes from totally unpredictable, real-world encounters with other people. Today, we're breaking down the anatomy of real terror. We're going to look at 3 incredible true stories, focusing directly on the psychology of the victims, how these threats escalate, and the literal survival mechanisms that kept them alive. So, let's just get right into it.
They didn't always leave immediately. Just let that hang in the air for a second. That singular, absolutely chilling phrase was spoken in a dimly lit, completely empty hotel hallway right after a fatal medical emergency. I mean, it's a sentence that makes zero logical sense, but it just instantly freezes your blood, right? It's the perfect narrative hook for the journey we're about to take.
So I really want you to ask yourself, what do you do when a totally normal night, a mundane business trip, maybe a quiet evening at your apartment, or just a simple walk home from the train station, suddenly turns into a literal fight for your life? Today's explainer is a thematic deep dive into 3 real-world case studies of threat detection, psychological endurance, and ultimately, survival.
Okay, let's dive into this with case study 1, the unexplained anomaly.
So, our first case centers on an exhausted traveling salesman. He's checking into an empty Missouri hotel back in the fall of 2025. He actually witnesses EMTs working on a man in the hallway. Tragically, yeah, it's an emergency, but it's an explainable reality. But here is what makes this so terrifying. The entire psychological weight of the night became inexplicably anchored to the number 3. You see, the human brain is hardwired to look for patterns to detect danger, right? And here, the pattern was just completely illogical, which sets off massive internal alarm bells. The guest was staying on the 3rd floor, his specific room number was 312. The tragic EMT emergency he witnessed, that happened exactly 3 doors down from his room. And then, at 12:50 a.m. as he's trying to sleep, there were exactly 3 soft knocks on his door. When he ignored them, another set of 3 louder knocks followed.
This builds into pure, agonizing suspense. The guest gets out of bed, he looks through the peephole, and the hallway is completely empty, but as he steps back, the door handle slowly depresses. Not a violent jiggle, but a gentle, very deliberate test just to see if the door is unlocked. He is frozen with dread. He's staring at the bottom of the door, and suddenly, the strip of light from the hallway vanishes. Someone, or something, is standing flush against his door, totally blocking the light. Seconds later, the light returns, but it's immediately followed by the terrifying sound of fingers, or maybe an arm, slowly dragging across the outside of the wood.
Eventually, the guest hears a door open down the hall. He steps out to find a man in his mid-40s in business attire coming out of the exact room where the medical emergency had happened. And this man has unusually sunken eyes, like he hasn't slept in months. When the guest asked if he was with the guy who was taken away earlier, the stranger just nods and casually says there had been 3 knocks, and the 3rd time was when they answered. When asked what on earth that meant, the man simply smiled and delivered our opening quote. They didn't always leave immediately. And then he just vanished down the stairwell. The truly terrifying part? The front desk confirmed the very next morning that the room 3 doors down had been completely vacant. Nobody was registered there. No way.
This story perfectly contrasts the 2 core types of fear. On one hand, you have the psychological horror of a completely illogical, unknown anomaly. You know, you can't fight what you can't understand. It leaves you feeling helpless and really taps into that primal fear of the dark. But on the other hand, we have the known threat, a danger with a name, a face, and a history. While the unknown really messes with your mind, the known threat bypasses all of that and forces your body into an immediate physical fight or flight reaction. And that brings us to case study 2, the familiar danger. This one looks at a domestic dispute that spiraled into a truly terrifying home invasion. It involves a woman named Misty and her ex-boyfriend Paul. Now, the breakup was bad, so bad that Misty actually had a restraining order. Earlier that night, Paul had completely smashed her bedroom window and thrown her dirty clothes inside, a very targeted act of intimidation. The police were called, but you know how it is in a busy city, they didn't show up immediately. So around 10:30 p.m., Misty steps out of her room to take out the trash, and when she glances back, her intuition kicks in. She thinks she sees a dark figure slip right into her room. Now, the human brain subconsciously registers anomalies way faster than our conscious mind can process them, but she brushes it off. She checks the apartment, finds absolutely no one. Thinking she's alone, she just sits on her phone for a while. Eventually, she gets up, walks over, and opens her closet door to grab some cleaning supplies.
And Paul is standing right there, inside her closet. He has a completely blank expression on his face. He doesn't yell, he doesn't attack, he just stares at her and calmly delivers this absolute verbal jump scare. I just want my vape back. I mean, just imagine the pure shock of opening a door in your own secure home to find your stalker standing there silently in the pitch black.
And this brilliantly illustrates one of the most incredible examples of crisis management you will ever hear. Misty went totally white with fear, but she didn't panic. She utilized a super powerful psychological tool, emotional regulation. By forcing herself to speak back to him in a dead, cold, completely normal voice, she actively prevented her brain's amygdala from hijacking her body into sheer panic. It immediately de-escalated his unpredictable state, and while doing this, she frantically but subtly texted her roommate. Her roommate immediately called 911, and thanks to her brilliant delaying tactics, the police arrived and put Paul in handcuffs. Her ability to mentally override her own terror literally saved her life.
Okay, let's transition to our final archetype. Case study 3, the relentless tracker. Let's map out this relentless escalation spanning years. This really highlights the terrifying reality of modern stalking. Statistics actually show that a massive percentage of stalking cases now involve complex digital surveillance way before they ever turn physical. So it begins when the victim is an 18-year-old university student. A random heavy-set man with blue eyes messages him on Instagram, basically coercing him into this really awkward game of truth or dare. The victim blocks him. But at age 21, the man finds him again on Instagram and sends a barrage of hostile messages. Blocked again, right? But the stalker tracks him down on TikTok a month later. And get this, the TikTok account didn't even use the victim's real name. Finally, weeks later, this multi-platform digital harassment manifests into a real physical encounter. But hold on, let's rewind for a second to the exact moment the digital interaction actually crossed the line into a real-world threat. During that very first Instagram game of Truth or Dare, the stranger asked, "How are you finding life at university?" The victim and his friend just froze. The victim's account didn't mention college at all. He had never posted about living on campus, and he was from a small town hours away. The stalker had revealed that he knew exactly where the 18-year-old was without ever being told. It's so creepy. Years later, after tracking the victim across TikTok, the digital threat becomes a physical one. The victim is walking home from the train station at night. The streets are completely empty. Suddenly, he hears footsteps behind him. He stops to listen, and the footsteps behind him stop too. They are mirroring his exact pace. The tension here is just palpable. It's that horrific realization that he is literally being hunted in the dark. A huge knot forms in his stomach. He slowly turns around and then hits the horrifying recognition. It's the exact same pale skin, the same messy brown hair, and the same light blue eyes from the photos sent years ago. Standing just meters away on the footpath, lit up by a street lamp, is the man. The stalker is completely motionless. And then he breaks the silence by calmly greeting the victim by his first name. The victim doesn't even hesitate. He turns and sprints all the way home, crashes through his front door, and locks it just in time. Section 4, surviving the unthinkable. So the crucial point is, how do we extract survival mechanics from these visceral stories? Let's bring this explainer home. Here's what you absolutely need to take away from this. First, build situational habits. Just like our hotel guest, always count the doors from your room to the stairwell in case of a fire or an emergency. Second, trust your intuition. If someone smashes your window, don't wait around for them to come back inside. Call 911 immediately and stay on the line. Third, channel Misty's incredible emotional regulation. Keep your tone dead and calm in the face of an active physical threat to avoid triggering an escalation. Fourth, document all digital harassment across every single platform so you can get a binding restraining order. And finally, maintain strict situational awareness, especially when walking at night. Put simply, don't stare at your phone. Listen to the footsteps around you. I want to leave you with a lingering, totally provocative thought from our final story. The victim noticed the footsteps. He stopped, he verified he was being followed, and he ran. But what if he hadn't turned around? What if he had just kept his headphones in, staring at his screen, completely oblivious to the man with the pale skin and blue eyes walking quietly right behind him? It's a chilling reminder that